This video is being done for the purpose of describing this 1932 Cadillac Model 355 Convertible Coupe in as much detail as I can think of as I walk around the car. There will be no road test, so this is really just for the purpose of being very clear about what you're looking at here on this car. So the history on this is that it was restored in the 70s, and in 1979 it was on the cover of the Cadillac LaSalle Club magazine, the Self-Starter. The article in the magazine that explained the history on the restoration of this car told where it came from, what it needed, how it was done, and of course it was a very condensed story about the restoration and what it took to get the car restored. Now, the years between, the car was used at some small events and not really driven much at all from the way we understand it, and then put in storage where the car sat until just about 1 year ago. So finding the car, bringing it out of storage, trailering it up to my place, and going through the car inspection wise, mechanically and so forth, to bring it back to roadworthiness, we did quite a bit of work, both mechanical and cosmetic. And of course, the first thing you do is replace all the tires, check all the brakes, check all the linkages to the brakes, and then get into the mechanical part of it, engine condition, and all of the running gear and chassis. So this is the result. It's pretty thorough. Actually took the engine partially apart in frame to confirm that it had been rebuilt and just what was done when that rebuild happened. So by one hand here, I'm opening the hood. So the engine, this is the V8 model, which is the same car chassis and wheelbase as the V12 Cadillacs, but the 16-cylinder Cadillacs were a longer wheelbase. So with hood down and this, you couldn't really see much difference between this and a 12. We put a 12 there and the personalized plate didn't say V8, you'd have to look closer and in order to find out that it's not the 12-cylinder car. So again, a few details found on the V8 compared to the V12 cars. Engine number is correct, and the original Cadillac build sheet confirms that this is the correct engine number for this car, and this car was ordered new from Cadillac in this color combination. So it's properly restored in the correct color combination. That's what I'm gonna get down to here. Now, the engine runs really well now, and of course, like I say, the odometer was probably set at 0 when the gauges were all sent out for restoration back in the 70s, and the miles on the odometer are what's been put on the car since that restoration was completed. We'll get in there and look at that shortly here. I'm just trying to get the hood back down one-handed. Okay, I'm not going to latch it for now. Okay, so yeah, that's the way the doors open on the 32 Cadillac. When the restoration was done, nearly all the wood was replaced that was in the body. I don't know if I'll be able to get any shots of that during the video, but we'll see how that works. 428 miles since the restoration was completed. There's a lot of years since it was done, but no miles. So this is what happens here. Time goes by and we end up like this. So the wood now could use some sanding and revarnishing. That is the exposed wood. Of course, all of the unexposed wood is sealed and painted inside the doors, inside the bottom of the body, and so forth. Okay, now this is a convertible coupe, not a roadster. A roadster would be a car that has no roll-up windows, and of course it would have a convertible top, but you couldn't close the car unless you put side curtains on it. Whereas a convertible coupe has real roll-up windows, a real seal around the window frame so that you can actually close it up. And the top does come down. So it's a real convertible top that folds down and opens up the car as if it's a real convertible. The golf club door, as everybody calls it, is here. The footman's door, the storage door, or the golf club door, whatever you want to call it. And notice some of the woodwork here in the door frame. This is how the woodwork was done when the car was restored. And yes, there's a light inside there that comes on when you open this door. Okay, now if I go back here and open the deck lid, you'll see the rumble seat. So there's a 2-passenger seat here, and you'll see the foot bar there that flips back out of the way if you care to do so, and the step plates here to assist stepping into the back of the car should you have passengers ride back there. And this is really the trunk, a real trunk. Since the trunk and the car was restored some time ago and exposed to some years, the leather handles have started to show some age. Now, actually, those leather handles could be original to 1932, but I don't know that for sure, so I'm gonna say that if they're original 32, they're in really nice condition. So, don't know. Looking close, you'll see that the chrome on the bumper is pitted. Still shiny, but it is pitted. I just want to be sure that that's understood so anybody looking at the car can see what's going on with chrome condition, hardware, everything that we look at. The rest of the chrome is very nice. Very nice to excellent, I'd have to say. Landau bars chrome is excellent. The top looks good. It's nice and tight. But if you look inside, you'll see that the pads have some staining. Paint is very glossy. And I'm going to show you what happens when a car is parked inside in dry storage with the car cover on it for many years. If you can look really closely and carefully across the top of the fender, very difficult to see, but there's little pimples on the paint in some of the top surfaces, especially on the front fenders, where the car cover sat, and condensation or moisture just from the air was able to get in underneath the car cover, and over a period of years caused the little tiny bubbles in the paint. But you got to be looking at it up close to see it. Okay, now if I open the driver's door, let's take a look in here. Leather is very nice for as old as it is. The carpet does need to be replaced. It's worn. Instruments are beautiful, like I said before earlier. Chrome connections, controls, everything works like it's supposed to. Windshield wipers are not connected, but everything is here. As I recall, the wiper motor was in the box of parts we found, and the wipers were never finished. I put the pieces together so that the visual would still be there, but they're not operable. And the wiper switch is here in the center of the dash, up at the top. There's two other holes in the dash right there that don't have switches in them. Those, I believe, are heater switches. The car has heater hoses coming into the compartment, but no heater. So apparently there was a heater in it at one time that somebody removed and plugged the hoses. We never found the heater. Okay, now I'm going to try to get a shot of some of the chassis here. The chassis, of course, since it's a nut and bolt frame off restoration, everything was done here. Springs rebuilt, the proper spring gaiters or covers are put on all the springs like they're supposed to be. The wood in the floor is all redone. Running board's done. Suspension done. Here's the front springs with the proper gaiters in place. These cars are manual brakes with cable going to each wheel, and they're individually adjustable. Everything is adjusted on the car, ready to be driven. I can't see what I'm filming, so I just hope it's doing what it's supposed to do. And so there you have it. I have many pictures of the car that I can share with anybody interested. The car is for sale. We'd really like to see it find a proper home with a collector that appreciates these cars, and hopefully a collector that will drive it and enjoy it. Beautiful cars from the days when they built fantastic, classic looking automobiles. Thanks for watching.